You open your eyes. The light peeks gently through the window blinds. Your body shifts under the blanket, slow, deliberate, cautious. You swing your legs over the side of the bed. But this morning, something's different. Your feet hesitate. Your legs feel heavier than they should. They're not in pain. They're just reluctant, as if your muscles are still asleep, as if part of you stayed behind in the dreams. You reach for the edge of the mattress to push yourself up. It takes a second longer, just a moment more effort than yesterday. You tell yourself maybe you slept funny, maybe the air is cooler, maybe it's just age. But deep down, a quiet thought whispers back, why does this keep happening? Your mornings didn't used to feel like this. You used to wake up ready to move. Now you wake up negotiating with your own legs. And the strangest part is, you've been eating breakfast. You thought you were doing everything right. But what if what you put on your plate each morning was silently draining your strength? Not a dramatic collapse, not a hospital scare, just a quiet erosion day after day. If this feels familiar, not weakness, but a question that won't go away, then stay with us. Subscribe to Senior Fit, where growing older doesn't mean growing smaller. It means growing wiser, stronger, and still moving forward. Because the truth is, you can rebuild what's slipping away. But it starts with understanding why it's slipping, and how breakfast, of all things, plays a quiet role in your body's decline. There's something your body does every night while you sleep, silently, gently. It breaks down, not because it's failing, but because it's surviving. You see, while you sleep, your body is fasting. It's using stored energy to repair tissues, clear toxins, balance hormones. And part of that process, it pulls amino acids from wherever it can find them. And too often, that means your muscles. Especially after 60, when your muscle mass is already in decline, when each year quietly chips away at your strength. And here's the truth no one talks about. If you don't refuel that loss each morning, your body doesn't just pause. It continues breaking itself down. That's why breakfast isn't just a meal. It's your body's first chance to say, I'm safe now. I can rebuild. But only if you give it the right tools. And here's where the mistake begins. Many older adults believe that any breakfast is better than none. A slice of toast, a cup of juice, a sweet cereal, something fast and easy. But they don't know what's happening inside. Because every morning something else is rising too. Cortisol, a natural hormone that helps you wake up, gives you energy, keeps you alert. But cortisol is catabolic. It breaks things down. And without enough protein in the morning, cortisol turns on your own body. It starts pulling from your muscles. That's why so many seniors feel weaker after breakfast. Not before, not during sleep, but after eating, when the body is trying to recover and fails. Because the meal was empty. No building blocks, no support, just sugar, caffeine, or carbs. It's like trying to rebuild a house with only a hammer and no bricks. The result, you feel tired, your legs feel slow, your focus is fuzzy. Not because of aging, but because breakfast didn't protect you. This is what no one tells you. This is why your body feels like it's slipping. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Because once you understand the role of that first meal, you can use it to stop the breakdown. And even begin rebuilding. And that begins with recognizing the silent enemies on your plate. Let's start with the first enemy. It looks innocent, colorful, crunchy, advertised as whole grain or fortified with vitamins. But it's not food for your muscles. It's sugary cereal. You know the kind, bright boxes, cheerful names. A quick pour into a bowl splash of milk and breakfast is done. But here's what happens inside your body. That cereal, it's made from refined grains stripped of fiber and protein. Then it's coated in sugar. So when you eat it, your blood sugar spikes fast. Insulin comes rushing in to manage it. Then crash. That crash, It doesn't just leave you tired, it tells your body it's in danger. It starts pulling energy from muscle. It starts burning your reserves. And if you do this every day, it becomes a pattern your body remembers. One that says, don't build, break. And here's something even more surprising. Most cereals marketed to older adults with labels like heart healthy or energizing still contain more sugar than a donut. More than your muscles can handle, especially on an empty stomach. Now let's talk about the second enemy, boxed fruit juice. It sounds healthy, doesn't it? Orange juice, apple, grape, all from fruit, so it must be good. But boxed juice is not fruit. It's fruit shadow. No fiber, no resistance, just a stream of liquid sugar that hits your system like a wave. Fructose floods your liver, spikes your triglycerides, triggers inflammation deep in your tissues. It doesn't fuel recovery. It delays it. And here's the cruel trick. Because juice feels light, people often drink more than they realize. 1 glass, 2, maybe more. And with every sip, your body moves further away from balance, further from strength. These two breakfast staples, cereal and juice, seem harmless, even comforting. But for an aging body trying to preserve strength, they're like whispers that turn into warnings. Your legs feel heavier, your mornings become slower, and you don't know why. Till you look closer at what's inside your bowl and what's inside your glass. But now you do. You've seen what hides behind the sweetness, and we're not done yet. Because there are 3 more culprits waiting quietly on the table. Think about Mrs. Elena. She's 67, lives with her granddaughter. Every morning she prepares a glass of juice for herself and a bowl of cereal, a habit she's had for decades. She smiles as she eats, thinking it's light and easy on the stomach. But lately, she's been struggling to remember names. She holds onto the railing a little tighter when going down the stairs, and she doesn't have the appetite for her late morning walks anymore. Her doctor told her she's aging normally, but no one asked what she eats at sunrise. Because if they had, they might have seen that her breakfast wasn't nourishing her. It was quietly undoing her. This is what makes these foods dangerous. Not that they're fast, not even that they're sweet, but that they pretend to be helpful, and no one questions them. Until the body begins to whisper, and the legs no longer respond the way they used to, and the fog in the mind rolls in just a little earlier. But clarity can come back. Strength can return if we make a different choice. And that means clearing space, clearing room at the table, for breakfasts that rebuild. But before we bring them in, let's finish looking at what still needs to go. Because hidden beneath comfort and convenience are habits that don't serve you anymore. So let's turn the page and meet the next 3 foods that slow your steps and quietly steal your mornings. Now let's meet the next trio. 3 breakfast choices that often feel like comfort, but quietly chip away at your strength. The first, white bread and pastries. They smell warm. They remind you of weekend mornings. A soft slice of toast, a muffin, a buttery croissant. They go down easy, too easy. But here's what happens next. They hit your bloodstream like a fire. Refined carbohydrates break down into sugar almost instantly. That causes another insulin spike, another crash. But it's not just about energy. These foods don't come with any protein or healthy fats or nutrients to anchor your system. So while they're filling, they're not nourishing. They give your body a false sense of satisfaction. But behind the scenes, you're still running on empty. Now imagine doing this every day, waking up reaching for something quick, telling yourself it's light, it's simple, but your body is begging for more than simplicity. It's begging for substance. Then there's processed meat. Sausage, bacon, breakfast links. They smell like tradition. They sound like something hearty. But look deeper. These meats are often packed with sodium nitrate, a preservative that's been linked to inflammation and oxidative stress. They're high in saturated fat, low in real protein quality, and they trigger your body's inflammatory pathways. Which means what? It means pain. It means slower recovery. It means muscles that don't bounce back. And over time, it can lead to more than stiffness. It can increase your risk of stroke, of metabolic dysfunction, of cognitive decline. And finally, there's the sweet morning beverage. Café Sua, sweetened tea. That flavored latte that brings you joy. We're not here to take joy away, but we are here to tell the truth. When your first liquid of the day is loaded with sugar and combined with caffeine, it puts your body into alarm mode. You feel jittery, then tired, then thirsty. And behind the scene, your cells become dehydrated, your muscles lose volume, and your protein synthesis, the process that builds new tissue, slows down. What does that feel like? Shaky hands, foggy brain, wobbly legs, all from a drink you didn't question. Because that's how these enemies work. They don't announce themselves. They don't arrive with warning labels. They arrive with routine, comfort, and habit. But now that comfort comes at a cost. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. These 5 foods: cereal, juice, white bread and pastries, processed meats, sugary drinks. They've taken too much from you already. Meet Mr. Harold. He's 74, lives with his wife in a quiet neighborhood. Every morning for the past decade, he's fried 2 slices of bacon, buttered a white roll, and sipped sweet coffee on the porch. It's their little ritual, the scent, the sound of birds, the comfort of routine. But lately, he's noticed his hands tremble when holding the newspaper, and his legs feel unsteady on the porch steps. At first, he thought it was arthritis, until his doctor asked a simple question: what do you eat when you wake up? Harold never thought his breakfast could be the culprit. It was light, it was familiar, but it was also draining him. That's the power of repetition, of tiny choices made without scrutiny, choices that feel harmless. Until the body starts sending quiet distress signals. And the signals don't come all at once. They arrive slowly. A stumble here, a moment of confusion there, a missed step, a forgotten name, a deep fatigue by mid-morning. Each signal dismissed as just getting older. But age isn't always the reason. Sometimes it's the fuel, or the lack of it. The pastries, the meat, the syrupy drinks, they've been companions for years. But not all companions walk beside you. Some weigh you down. And now it's time to let them go. Not with guilt, but with grace. You're not giving up pleasure. You're making space for meals that give back, for mornings that feel steady again, for legs that move without fear. So, as we say goodbye to these 5 foods, we open the door to 5 more, ones that taste good, feel good, and rebuild you one bite at a time. When you let go of something that's been part of your routine for years, it doesn't always feel like a victory. Sometimes it feels like loss, like stepping into a morning without your usual comfort, like silence where a familiar taste used to be. But what if that silence was the first sign of healing? Because when you stop feeding the foods that weaken you, your body begins to speak again. It starts in small ways. Your legs feel a little more stable. Your thoughts come a little quicker. You don't reach for the table when you rise from your chair. These aren't miracles. They're restorations, pieces of strength returning quietly. But what happens if you don't make the change? Let's talk about that. Because the consequences of ignoring your breakfast habits don't just stay in the kitchen. They echo through your entire day, your balance, your memory, your energy, your sense of independence. It starts with the legs. Muscles that aren't nourished shrink. They become less responsive, less coordinated. And when that happens, the risk of falling increases. Not just stumbles, but real falls. The kind that sends seniors to the emergency room every year. Then there's the mind. When your blood sugar crashes, when your brain doesn't get the fuel it needs, you feel it as fog. You forget appointments. You lose words in the middle of a sentence. You pause more often, unsure of what comes next. It's not just frustrating, it's frightening. And over time, it chips away at confidence. You stop going out as much. You hesitate before saying yes to social gatherings. You begin to withdraw. And slowly, that quiet erosion of muscle turns into something deeper. Isolation, fatigue, and yes, even depression. All beginning with what you eat first thing in the morning. Not because breakfast is everything, but because breakfast sets the tone. It tells your body what kind of day to expect. It signals safety or stress, strength or surrender. And most people never realize it until they look back and wonder when things started slipping. But now you don't have to wonder. You don't have to keep making the same choices just because they're familiar. You can choose differently, gently, with grace. Because the same way harm happens slowly, so does healing. And your first step is knowing what to bring back to the table. Take Sandra. She's 70, used to love gardening. Every morning she'd tend to her flowers with ease. But over the past year, she started waking up tired. Her knees didn't want to bend. Her hands trembled holding the watering can. She told herself she was just getting older. But one day, after nearly slipping on her back steps, she paused. She didn't look at her knees. She looked at her kitchen. That morning, instead of toast and sweet coffee, she made scrambled eggs, added a few berries, drank water. It didn't fix everything overnight, but something shifted. By week 2, she could crouch again. By week 3, she was walking longer. And by month's end, she was planting daisies. Not because she changed her medications, but because she changed her morning message. Your first meal speaks to your body. It says, "I'm worth rebuilding," or "I'm not ready." You get to decide what message you send. You get to decide how you rise. And you don't have to do it all at once. You just have to begin. Because breakfast isn't just about the food. It's about the life you want to feel strong enough to live. And it's time you had a breakfast that helps you live it. Now that we've cleared the table, let's talk about what to bring back. Because healing doesn't happen in the abstract. It happens in flavors, in colors, in quiet daily choices that rebuild you one bite at a time. Here are 5 breakfasts that don't just fill you up. They give you back your legs, your clarity, your calm. Let's begin with something humble. Eggs. Boiled, scrambled, poached, however you like them. Eggs are nature's perfect protein. They contain all 9 essential amino acids, the exact ones your muscles need to rebuild. And they come with choline, a powerful nutrient that supports brain function and memory. 1 egg in the morning can do more for your muscles than a whole bowl of cereal ever could. And when paired with a few sautéed greens or avocado, it becomes a recovery meal. Next, overnight oats. But not just plain oats. We're talking oats soaked in almond milk, topped with chia seeds, flaxseed, maybe a few walnuts. This mix isn't just fiber, it's fuel. Oats help regulate blood sugar, so you don't crash an hour later. Chia and flax, they're full of omega-3s. Tiny warriors that fight inflammation and protect your joints. This kind of breakfast doesn't make you feel heavy. It makes you feel grounded. Third, quinoa with steamed vegetables and a spoon of nut butter. It might sound unusual, but it's a quiet powerhouse. Quinoa gives you protein and complex carbs. The veggies give you antioxidants. And that spoon of almond or cashew butter. It gives you healthy fats that support hormone balance and energy. Imagine a warm bowl, earthy, light replenishing. Now let's cool things down with Greek yogurt, but not the flavored kind, plain unsweetened, paired with berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. What you get is a protein-rich, probiotic-packed bowl that feeds your gut and your muscles at the same time. The berries, they help reduce inflammation and support circulation, so your hands stay steady and your legs feel more alive. And finally, a smoothie. But not just any smoothie. One made with plant-based protein powder, unsweetened almond milk spinach, a banana, and a spoon of almond butter. Blend it, sip it slowly. Let it enter your system like a quiet wave of nourishment. It digests easily, reaches your muscles fast, and keeps your energy steady through the morning. This isn't just a drink. It's a signal to your body. We're not breaking down today. We're building. And you don't have to eat all 5. Start with 1. Whichever one feels doable. Whichever one feels like an invitation, not a rule. Because rebuilding doesn't happen with perfection. It happens with presence, with intention, with that moment in the morning when you pause and ask, what do I want to feel like? Not just now, but in 2 hours. When I walk, when I think, when I move through the day. Food is memory, food is movement, food is power. And you have the power to choose it differently starting tomorrow morning. Let me tell you about Nora. She's 76, a retired teacher, used to wake up every morning and make toast with jam. No appetite for anything heavier. She'd say, I just want something quick. But every afternoon, she'd need a nap. Her knees hurt. She forgot where she placed her keys more than once. Her doctor mentioned age, but Nora listened to her body. And one morning, she changed her plate. Scrambled 2 eggs, added a small bowl of Greek yogurt with raspberries. And just like that, her day felt different. By the end of the week, she wasn't napping as often. By the end of the month, she was back to reading on the porch every afternoon without nodding off. She didn't go on a diet, she didn't count calories, she just listened. That's the power of starting over, gently, wisely, with food that serves your future, not just your habits. Each of these 5 breakfasts isn't a rule, it's a tool, a way back to yourself. And yes, it takes more time than pouring a bowl of cereal, but what it gives you in return, steadier steps, a clearer head, more time on your feet, less time sitting out, and most of all, confidence. Because when you nourish yourself properly, you stop racing for the next fall. You start reaching for the next walk, the next conversation, the next full present morning. And that's not just breakfast. That's reclaiming your life. So tomorrow when you open your eyes, don't just think about what's fast. Think about what brings you back. Back to your legs, back to your balance, back to your best self. And let breakfast be the beginning of that return. It doesn't begin with a pill or a doctor's warning. It begins with a quiet decision made in your kitchen before the world stirs, before the phone rings, before the noise comes back. A moment of stillness, where you choose not what's convenient, but what helps you come alive. This is what most people never realize, that the first thing you eat doesn't just feed your body. It tells it what kind of day to have, what kind of life to expect. And when you choose foods that rebuild you, you're not just preventing illness. You're reclaiming something deeper. Your independence, your rhythm, your connection to movement. Because it was never about food alone. It was about what that food allowed you to do. To walk without fear, to climb stairs without pause, to garden, to carry your grandchild, to laugh a little louder, because your breath no longer gets cut short. You see, it's never too late to change course. Your muscles may be quieter now, but they're still listening. And when you feed them right, they wake up. Slowly, steadily, faithfully, like old friends who never left. And so does your mind. With every nutrient-rich bite, blood flows better. Neurons fire clearer, and names don't slip away so easily. This is the miracle of starting again. And you don't need to do it perfectly. You just need to do it consistently, lovingly, with intention, like a quiet promise whispered over your morning plate. I choose strength today. I choose clarity. I choose to stay in motion. You're not alone in this. Thousands of older adults are waking up to this truth, changing what's on their plate, and watching what comes back into their life. One walk, one deep breath, one steady step at a time. So if you've ever felt yourself fading, if you've looked down at your legs and thought, these don't feel like mine anymore, know this: you're not broken. You're just underfed. undernourished, undervalued, by habits that never asked what your body truly needed. But now you know better, and that changes everything. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, ask yourself, do I want to feed the part of me that's fading, or the part that's still fighting? Because one bite can begin to rebuild a body, can restore a sense of self, can return you to the rhythm you thought was gone. You're not past your prime. You're on the edge of a new one, a prime made of wisdom, resilience, and quiet power. And it begins not with struggle, but with breakfast. So, if this message has stirred something inside you, a flicker, a memory, a hope, then don't stop here. Subscribe to Senior Fit and join thousands of others who are choosing to rise differently. Choosing mornings that rebuild, meals that mean something, and strength that starts from within. Because this isn't the end. It's the morning your body has been waiting for. Think of Mr. Raymond. He's 81. For years, he believed slowing down was inevitable. That fatigue was a cost of aging. That forgetting names, needing help up the stairs, was simply the way life went. But when his daughter visited one morning, she noticed the way he leaned on the kitchen counter, how he struggled to twist open a jar, and how his breakfast, a dry slice of white toast with margarine, offered nothing to fight back. She didn't scold him, she made him eggs, and something shifted. At first he protested. "I don't need that much," he said. But she smiled. "You don't need more food, Dad. You need better food." Over the next few weeks, she helped him change his routine. Protein in the morning, hydration, color on his plate. And slowly, the man she remembered, the one who told stories with hand gestures, who never missed his morning walk, returned. Not in a dramatic transformation, but in small, solid ways. Raymond no longer leaned on the counter. He started reaching for the mail again. And when his grandson came to visit, he stood up steady and hugged him tight. Not every day was perfect, but every morning he chose the meal that moved him forward. That's what this is about. Not control, not punishment, not restriction, but dignity, choice, reclamation of the mornings you deserve, of the energy that belongs to you, of the joy that feels within reach again. So many older adults carry silent grief for the body they once had, for the freedom they didn't know they were losing. But here's the secret. That freedom isn't gone. It's just waiting. Behind one good habit, one mindful breakfast, one shift in direction. And if you've felt the weight of stillness of your body not keeping up with your will, then this message is yours. You're not alone, and you're not done. Your legs still remember how to climb. Your mind still remembers how to run. And your soul, it's been waiting for you to believe that change is still possible. Because it is. So breathe into that. Let it settle. Let it open something inside you. And tomorrow morning, let it lead your hands to a better plate, to a better beginning, to a breakfast that rebuilds what time tried to take. Then join us, because here on this channel we don't accept decline as destiny. We rise, one nourishing morning at a time. We remember what strong feels like, and we don't let go. Subscribe to Senior Fit. And together, let's build the kind of mornings that carry us all the way home.